viewers, I welcome you to another segment on Kharis Tutorials. Today, in our last episode, we've done the cutting of a fish skirt with powder. So today, in no time, we're going to be doing the sewing. In the cutting, we used two fabrics, remember, the plain and the pattern. We're going to be doing the sewing today, and we're going to be doing that within 15 minutes. Yes, and we are done. So you can rock your skirt, a fish skirt with paddle. So before we continue, pause, click on the subscribe button, yes, and also you notice a small button that is called the notification button. Click on it to get notifications on every of our posts. Yes, so now let's move to the machine so we can do our sewing. Welcome back. Now we're going to cut out the lining for the skirt. That's the first thing we're going to do. We'll cut whatever we have for the front and also for the back, and also for the paddle we're going to cut out the same thing. I've done mine already. I have my lining, but now the front and the back, I have exactly what I cut out on my material. Is the same thing I have on the lining. As you can see, the same thing. So now I'm going to measure 3 inches on the lining, 3 inches on the lining, and I'll reduce the 3 inches. We're going to cut it out, both for the front and also for the back. We're going to measure 3 inches. That's from the waist. I'll measure 3 inches and I'll cut it out. I have 3 inches, so I'll cut it out. While cutting your lining so as to maximize the lining, you might have done this already instead of having to trim the 3 inches away. Now we're going to start the joining. I'm going to start with the front, so I'll place the lining on it, and first I'll turn in the waist. I'll turn in the waist. I'm going to run a sewing, I'll notch, and then I'll top stitch on the lining. After doing that, now I'm going to pull the lining to the base of the skirts. I'll pull it to the base of the skirts, and also I'm going to do the same thing, run a sewing and top stitch on the lining. Now I'm going to measure 1 inch from the waist of the skirt and fold it in. I have 1 inch folded, and now I'm going to run a straight sewing by the sides of the skirt. The first side I will run it all through, but on the other side of the skirt I'm going to leave a little space. So as to use the little space, I'm going to use it to turn the fabric inside out. But on the other side, I'm going to run it straight down. So the remaining space, we're going to top stitch it, and this is what we have thereafter. That's for the front. Now we move to the back. Now we're going to move to the back, but first thing, we're going to join the paddle. Remember, we have a paddle at the back, and I have my lining for the paddle. So we're going to join the paddle to the lining first. So I'm going to join the paddle to the lining. I ran out of lining and this must be done, so I had to join it together so as to achieve this. So now we're going to join the paddle to the lining. That's one side. This is how the paddle is, and I'm going to join this side to one side of the back lining. Remember, we have two, and the other side as well I'm going to join to this. So we're going to do that now. I have to pause because from bringing the two linings together, that's attaching it with the paddle, we have to make sure that at this point we bring both the lining, that's the lining on the first side, the paddle, and also the other lining on the other side. We have to bring them together to a close before we now join the remaining parts of the two linings. At this point, this is the end parts of the paddle. So on joining this, I have to make sure that I bring this together as well before I'll continue joining the lining together. So that is why I have to pause. Now, what I have done here, I'm going to repeat the same thing on the main fabric. I'm going to repeat it on the main fabric. This is the paddle in between, so I'm going to attach this side to this and the other side to this, just the same thing I did on the lining. I have the paddle attached to the back and it's looking very, very nice. I love this. Now we're going to start. As you can see, this part of the skirt is not closed. Yes, because we're going to insert a zip. This is going to be the zip space. So you have to measure 8 inches and leave the space 8 inches for the zip. Now we are going to place the lining. I've measured my 8 inches. Remember to leave 8 inches for the zip. 8 inches. Now we're going to place the lining on it. Starting from one side, I'm going to join and top stitch Then I'll do the same thing to the other side. I'll join and also top stitch, and we move to the base of the skirt like we did in the front part. I'll pull the lining to be equal with the length of the skirt. Then we'll run, I'm going to run the sewing as well, and then I'll top stitch on it. Just follow the step one after the other. So now that we have done that, the next thing, like we did in the front part of the skirt, we're going to join the side. I'll measure 1 inch. I'll measure 1 inch and then fold it inside. Then I'll join the two sides. We're going to join it and we'll bring it out from the open space we have here. So let's quickly do that now. So we have to leave the remaining parts like we did in the front, so as to use this the remaining space to turn our fabric inside out. Now we move to the parts where we're to attach our zip. On the lining, I'm going to hold the lining and one part of the fabric. I'm going to join them together, and also on the other side I'm going to do the same thing as well. Join the lining together with the fabric. So we are going to do that now. Let's turn to see what we have afterwards. And this is what we have. And also the down part, that's the base of the skirts. The next thing we're going to do is to close up the space, and then we'll bring out the shape. But before then, we're going to fix the zip first. So let's close the open space, and then we fix the zip. I'm going to fix the zip like an invisible zip, so I have to turn it to do that. We are done with fixing of the zip. Now we're going to bring out the shape of the skirt, and we are done. In bringing out the shape of the skirt, we have the waist measurement to be 40 and the hip we have 46. So 40 divided by 2, we have 20. And let's see what we have. I have 23. That means I'll share 1.5 inch on each side. The hip 46. Divided by 2, we have 23. So all together, let's see what we have. I have 25 inches. So we're going to share 1 inch on each side. And the knee length from the measurement 16 inches. Ouch. Okay, 16 inches is the half length, which is the knee length. And on the knee length, I'm going to subtract 1 inch from what we have here, 23. So I'm going to subtract 1 inch, and that will be 22. Here we have 24, and as well I'll share 1 inch on each side. Going to bring out the shape. So this is the base of the skirt. I want to be sure the two are equal. Now I'm going to join together. That's all. Wow. We have a fish skirt, the back and the front. Remember to weave all necessary parts and iron as well to have a neat finish. Remember, it is important to weave your material. This is the front and also the back with the paddle. And that's all. And we are done with our class today, a fish skirt with paddle. Yes, and we used 2 different fabrics in doing that. Thanks for watching Kharis Tutorials. You know, I still remain Simeon Grace. And remember to click on the subscribe button, yes, so you can get notifications on every of our posts. Thanks for Africa TV. You can follow Africa TV on Instagram and on Facebook at africatv.com. Yes, and you can follow me as well on Facebook and on Instagram at Kharis Creations. Till I see you next class. Bye.